indeed. And he has been a goer in attack, 2 goals beside his name, but that's half-time. And at the long interval, it's the Sydney Swans by 26 points, and they thoroughly deserve to have that big break. 2 goals each to Morwood and Wright for the Swans, singles to Williams, Mitchell, Potter, Bays and Kappa. And for Carlton, 2 to Silvani, 1 each to Kernahan, 2 to Kernahan, and singles to Johnston and Bradley. And at half-time, it's the Swans 10-9-69, leading Carlton 6 goals, 7-43.
Immediately after the Sunday football match from Perth, we'll have another edition of Sports Arena, continuing to cover the offbeat and too often overlooked activities which have given Sports Arena a fresh identity. You'll see some spectacular sprint karting at the National Championships, meet 2 of Australia's top sportswomen, enjoy our regular features and scoreboards, and also get an insight into the women's professional golf circuit as we interview a top Australian golfer about her experiences in America. I hope you can join us Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock.
Coming up on the 7:30 report, race rigging in Hong Kong and the Australians who do the dirty work.
In private boxes high above the track and in offices around the city, the Shanghai syndicate decided which horses would win, and Australians would turn the decisions into reality. And it's been going on for more than 10 years.
When I first come to Hong Kong, the Shanghai syndicate was known to everybody. I think everyone's been approached. I've been approached a few times, especially when I first come here.
Saddling up a certainty, coming up on the 7:30 report.
So the Swans by 26 points at half-time after leading by 16 at the first change. The game going against the expected trend, although Carlton just slight favourites. Kevin Bartlett, are you surprised?
I am surprised. I tipped Carlton to win tonight, but I didn't bank on John Ironmonger absolutely dominating the ruck. John Ironmonger has been the catalyst of this lead for the Sydney Swans. He's dominated the ruck. He's also played extremely well around the ground. He's used his body. He's made the pathway for the running players of the Sydney Swans. And it's those players in Murphy, Williams, Wright and Mitchell who are completely cutting Carlton apart. The Blues are very, very disappointing around the packs. For many years they had some outstanding small men. This year they went and recruited Mark Naylor. He's not in the side tonight. And their smaller players in Gleeson and Glascott, Evans, Robertson and Murphy have all been tried on and off the ground. Johnston, the captain of last year, the dominator, also struggling off the ground. So it's around the packs. The mosquito fleet of Carlton is being completely eclipsed, and it's all starting from John Ironmonger. For Carlton, up on their forward line, they've only got 2 players. That's Silvani and Kernahan. They've both kicked 2 goals each, and Kernahan has been magnificent. Doug, he started at full forward, went to centre half forward, back to full forward, and then they put him in the ruck and Madden down to full forward, and still he started to take marks around the ground.
Yes, he's been wonderful, Kev. He loved to have a run on the ball, I believe, when he was in South Australia, and not be a permanent centre half forward or certainly a permanent full forward. A couple of others, Kev, I think have been absolutely wonderful. As I thought Bolton was absolutely dynamic in that quarter.
One of the running players.
And he's really put Rhys Jones right out of the game. And of course, Greg Williams, we tend to forget how consistently brilliant he is all the time. He's won easily in the centre of the ground against Bradley.
Okay, it's half-time at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Swans 26-point leaders, 10-9-69. Carlton 6-7-43. We'll be back in just over a quarter of an hour with the second half live and exclusive to ABC television around Victoria. But now we're going back to last Wednesday night and the National Panasonic Cup final at VFL Park, Melbourne against Essendon, and the exciting last 15 minutes.
Well, we're sorry, Dons fans, to show you that again, but I'm sure everyone else, especially Demon supporters, are very happy to relive those great moments from last Wednesday night at VFL Park. If you're just joining us, good evening. We're watching live action tonight from the Sydney Cricket Ground, and it's the Swans that hold sway over Carlton at half-time, the top of the table clash, and it's the Sydney side leading by 26 points. 10-9-69 to Carlton's 6-7-43. Well, in the Melbourne studios of the ABC tonight, it's a man who you could say has got a foot in either court. Former Carlton champion in David McKay, but he's nicknamed Swan. No doubting which way, David, though, your leanings are. A bit toey at half-time. Do you think the Blues can get back?
Well, I think that the performance of Carlton has been quite disappointing up until half-time. The players who have played well for Carlton over the last 2 weeks, when they've played particularly well, their smaller players have been basically non-existent tonight, and if it hadn't have been for Kernahan and Dorotich in particular, and Savani up in the forward line, Carlton would be in a lot of trouble at the moment.
Do you think they've robbed Peter to pay Paul a little bit, Carlton? You were talking before the match that they had men who were positive taggers, who could look after the likes of Williams, but still push Carlton forward as well. They're not totally negative. Yes,
well, I've been most disappointed in both Meldrum and Glasgow. I thought they were two of Carlton's better players last week, and tonight Meldrum has been playing in the back pocket, and really he hasn't got into the game. It's good to see just towards the end of that quarter that he moved into the following division. I think he'll give Carlton a lift, but Glasgow's been most disappointing. I think that the value of these two players is that they're able to put an opponent out of the game and also win kicks, whereas tonight they haven't been able to do that at all.
What about the Swans? There seems to be no real star out there for them tonight.
Well, obviously Ironmonger is the key to the game for the Swans, as Kevin so rightly commented at the end of the quarter, but I think he's bringing so many of those smaller players into the game. Probably none of them have been outstanding, but just about all of those smaller players, Swans players, have contributed.
Well, what sort of miracles can Robert Walls work at half-time?
Well, I'm not sure that he can do a lot. It's good to see that he's put Kernahan onto the ball. I think that's probably Carlton's best chance of winning, because Kernahan has been marking superbly this year, and he can really give the Carlton some drive around the packs.
Well, it's very easy to postulate from 600k away or however far we are, but Tim Lane, we saw Ironmonger limping there in the second quarter and go off just before quarter time. As we've half time, we've pointed out what an influence he's been on the game. Is he injured, do you think?
I can't tell you, Pete. I did see that shot of him going from the ground. I just had the feeling, Kevin, that perhaps Hafey had decided close to half-time to give him a spell, and perhaps with Kernahan running on the ball, he didn't need Ironmonger's immense size to counter Madden, so he thought the time might have been right to give him the break.
Well, Ironmonger has had a hamstring problem, and he's been playing so well and dominating that I would think at that particular stage Hafey thought that he could rest Ironmonger, save him for this second half, and rather than put the pressure on him in those last few minutes, because he's done a power of work all over the ground and in the ruck. He's been absolutely magnificent.
Just talking about the dominator, Kevin, or talking about domination, it's obviously Carlton have made an error in not in playing Wayne Johnson, who perhaps wasn't 100% fit.
Well, I think if you play any player who's not 100% fit, it's going to be an error, particularly against the Sydney Swans. I think on this second half, that what I would look forward is for Meldrum and Alvin to go back onto the ball, and if Meldrum and Alvin can go on the ball, maybe even Motley, it could give Carlton a lift around the packs. They're only 26 points down, and anything can happen in this second half, particularly if they can get on top in the ruck, if Madden can come out and improve his play. I think everything revolves around Madden and Bradley lifting their game as well. As you say, Jono could be a little bit injured at this particular stage. If he is, he shouldn't be on the field.
Well, the second half is coming up. The Swans go into it with a 26-point advantage, 10-9-69 to 6-7-43. As we rejoin the action, umpires Clayton and Howe officiating at the SCG. Carlton going from right to left.